Fresh crisis brews in PDP as Supreme Court reinstates Anyanwu as the valid national secretary of the party. Anyanwu is a close ally of Wike, and many believe that Wike is using Anyanwu as a tool to destabilize the PDP. Many believe that upon the fresh judgment reinstating Anyanwu as the authentic national secretary of the PDP, it is an automatic fresh crisis for the party, owing to the fact that many in the party are tired of the high-handedness of Anyanwu acting as national secretary of the party. However, Segun Sowunmi, a chieftain of the party, has reacted to this Supreme Court judgment. Listen to his views and share your thoughts.
There is something that is concerning, though. Why does it seem that there is a confusion as to the Supreme Court verdict?
Well, thank you very much. There's really no confusion. What I observe is that, first of all, I must say that I went to court today, majorly because I wanted to hear what the judges would say. And for some time now, one had begun to be persuaded that perhaps something untoward happened when people lose cases. So I was not only interested in the verdict, I was interested in how the verdict would be laid. Now, what the Supreme Court said today was very clear. One, the fellow who instituted the case in Enugu High Court, ab initio, has no locus to even do so. Nyesom interloper. The second thing they said, that court itself has no jurisdiction because the parties should have been allowed to sort their own issue. The court then went further to say they overturned the High Court judgment. Then the learned judges then went and said, on the Court of Appeal, there was 2 against 1. They overturned the majority and upheld the minority. In fact, they spoke to him about the sound judgment of their brother, Kanem. Then they went to the Supreme Court and said they grant the relief sought by Anyanwu. Now, most people who are even commenting on it were not in court. The court said they will get a copy of the judgment within a few days, which I'm sure maybe when they get the certified true copy, they will find out what really was said. But what was interesting for me, Sheon, was that, I can't remember his name now. The judge went to field to try to tell us that every time we come to court and they have to give us judgment, that they are very much aware of the fact that society must, believe in the judgment, but that they are restrained by the fact that it's only the facts before them that they will adjudicate on, and that they will do it to the best of their ability and in truth, even understanding that they are standing in some kind of role on behalf of God. He then went a step further to tell us by quoting one judge in Europe or America, one of the very first judges to become Supreme Court, who was black, and then said that was a classmate of the Obi of Onitsha. He then went further to tell us that he quoted Justice Nikitobi, whom he called his revered mentor, and said that society is not served if we will not accept the verdict of the court as being given in the best interest and in good faith. If you were there and you were listening and you were interested in that, you would almost get to the point where you say, wow, do these guys have to go through this much pressure? Okay, the judgment has been given. We know that it clearly says he has granted those relief. He has thrown up. He's called one person Nyesom interloper. He's called another one a busybody. Lo and behold, the National Working Committee of our party has not met. They have not, our legal advisor has not even gotten a certified true copy. And before you know what is happening, some fellow is claiming to be speaking on behalf of the NWC and writing and impugning into a judgment what is not there.
So just for a moment. So what Mr. Debo Ologunagba, who is I'm believing that you are referring to Mr. Ologunagba's statement.
Was he the one that wrote that?
Yeah. So let me read out portion of what he said today in that statement, and I'm quoting him now. It says, quote, today's judgment of the Supreme Court reaffirms the standing position of the party and emphatically settles the emergence of Right Honorable S.K. Udo Okoye as a substantive national secretary of the PDP. Having been duly nominated endorsed and ratified through the internal mechanism of the PDP statutory organs and bodies in line with provisions of the PDP constitution as amended in 2017. The party went further to say, for clarity, the NWC at its 57th 576 meeting held on the 11th of October 2023 directed the Southeast Zonal Executive Committee to nominate a replacement for Senator Samuel Anyanwu upon Senator Anyanwu's nomination as a governorship candidate of the PDP to contest the November 2023 governorship election in Imo State. End of quote. Those are the words of Debo Ologunagba.
The first question you realize, is this in the judgment? Was he in court?
He's a lawyer.
Meaning what? If
Maybe
the matter, he was not in court, if the matter was as important as them deciding who their national secretary is, can you tell me why he will not even, for purpose of just hearing, be there?
Let's break it down.
Now.
Let's break it down.
Yes.
Let's break it down for our viewers to understand. What are the prayers and the relief being sought by? Because Mr. Anyanwu failed at the trial court. He failed at the appellate court. And there's now confusion as to whether or not the Supreme Court outrightly said reinstate Samuel Anyanwu. Did the Supreme Court say that?
There was no need for them to say that. When you read the judgment, you will know that there was no need. If they are confused, when they get the certified true copy, they can go back to the Supreme Court for interpretation. But the fact is that the court said while I was there that you can't build something on nothing. The court went to the base of that case, which is what happened at the Federal High Court in Enugu, and totally threw it away. The court went even a step further by saying that they are refusing and upturning the judgment of the Court of Appeal. No Supreme Court will go to that extent if they were going to become,
let's break it down.
They were going to do an academic exercise.
So you were in court and I'm happy.
There.
So let's look at the meat of the matter.
Yes.
Because the fact presented before the court and the prayers presented before the court, the appeals presented to the Supreme Court is what the Supreme Court is going to hear.
Exactly.
Now, first and foremost, the court's position is that the principle of internal politics should be upheld. The party should be able to administer dispute resolution by itself. First and foremost, the party has said you cannot run for a political office while still holding on to the party's
that's not even true.
National office. That is the position of the NWC.
So with due respect to them, that's not correct. We've had a lot of governors, some people that are even in office now, who were holding party offices until they won the election. The painful thing is that those who seek to now pretend as if that is the position of our law were the ones, the Ude Okoye Secondus led NWC at that time. They were the ones that even introduced that strange clause to protect themselves. And now, mine is that, do you know what was most nerve-wracking for me? I feared, and to the Justice of Zunga, I thank you so much, I feared that they may have even been locked up in court, will do all of their processes and all that, and before we know it, we'll have a Zankpara situation, which will be after candidates have emerged, they will tell us that we have built nothing on nothing, because you can't build something on nothing. Now that the court has rested that, what I was hoping, which was my charge to leaders and all that, look, we need to settle down now. It doesn't matter. Their tenure will finish in December anyway. Why don't you just let's take it easy with ourselves, go and take the court judgment. At least we know that if they sign a document now, INEC is not under obligation to say that there's a court order preventing them from having it, and go and build the party. We're hemorrhaging, mostly because of those who claim that they want to leave the party, also being the same one that are insisting that whenever they don't get judgment, the judgment is perfect. And I don't think that it is fair to everybody. When they come back, they are the NWC. They have a right to come and sit in NWC. They have a right to look at the judgment. They have the right to take notice of the judgment. They have a right to the next day in the morning, now that the court has told them they have those powers to do internal issues, to figure out internal ways to do all of it. But it is wrong. No national publicity secretary should seize the party handle and begin to appropriate himself more than what his roles and responsibilities are.
Should I allow you to weigh in on Reverse Matter, Mr. Showomi?
Well, thank you. You know, because in Ogun State, we had the G15 situation with Egbetokun when Governor Daniel was there, when there was an impeachment. And for a very long time, we had that in Baglo too there. I know how much work we did to even be able to get the last budget of the Daniel administration power. So sometimes one has a bit of things to say. I think whatever it is that has happened in Rivers, I hold the Rivers elders fully responsible for their inability to understand that at the heart of this challenge is that there is no court in the world that will agree that 3 people can constitute an assembly. However you prime it, that was where the problem was likely going to be. And rather than them figure out a way to close gap with brothers, to get them to be friends, they kept pumping each side on. And the result is that obviously they've gotten a state of emergency. I do not agree with the state of emergency, only insofar as I do not believe that we should create a precedence that can allow people to use Section 305 anyhow they want. For want of calling it annoying, let's even say that considered and the president got some kind of security report that made that so. Did that security report also say that the legislature should be cancelled? Okay, let's agree that that was the security report. He wanted to be fair, let him not seem to be, and he balanced it by removing all of them and putting a disciplined officer to go and stabilize the place. Sheung, my fear is that leaders will be copied and the risk of other people stretching. So when the PDP governors say they are going to court on that matter, I salute them, I encourage them, because we need to go back to court so we can define the extent to which you can stretch
the gray lines, and the blurry lines,
the extent to which you can stretch it. The things are clearly written, breakdown of this,
imminent danger,
and all that. But 305 is such a powerful clause that any president who desires mischief can write underneath. The greatest culprits are the National Assembly, because you would have expected that the National Assembly, who is not deaf to the thoughts of the people in the society, would at least have allowed some robustness. We will see people arguing for, arguing against, and even if he is going to pass, it will pass via a clear, proper vote. People will see that the society has not been hijacked. The way the assembly has behaved in this situation makes everybody scared that we are now in full-fledged democratic dictatorship, and that nobody must agree. Because we don't want breakdown of law and order, the PDP governors are right to go to court. I will advise Governor Siminalayi, always remember that the journey from home is not that far. No matter how you are in Timbuktu or you are in Australia, there's always a way to go back home. If a child has a challenge that is becoming difficult for him, you have tried to be brave and it's not working, you must remember that all 40 or so of you, 30-something House of Assembly, 3 senators, 9 reps, 1 governor, all of you were from the same stable. You can't be that angry to the extent that you don't believe that there has to be a space where you guys can agree among yourself and manage yourself. And he's not the first and only person that will be helped into power. Why is there no crisis in Kanu? After Okonkwo helped Gida into power. Why is there no crisis in Akwa Ibom? Why is there no crisis in Bayelsa? I know what's reacting to this indeed to install the. So I'm thinking that somehow the leaders and the elders of Rivers were pumping them, making them more angry with themselves, getting them to do until now the president has done this.
So, I mean, look at what Chief Sarah Igbe, quickly before we go on break. He said there is still no fairness in the balance of the discipline that has been meted out.
I hear him, but what he doesn't understand is that the president, with due respect, who then decided based on the Supreme Court judgment and the fact that they were all running away from themselves instead of just quickly agreeing that they're going to take the budget and start implementing, took that decision. No guarantee. His name was not there. The only thing you are asking is, and this weekend matter is tiring, because if you tell them, okay, I hear that you don't like him, but that doesn't mean he's wrong. They say he has paid you. If you tell them, if you are strict on him on an issue, they start clapping. But that's not how a leader behaves. A leader must be fair, must be balanced, must be influenced by the fact of the matter. If the president wants to do a cabinet reshuffle, maybe he may be persuaded that he wants to drop Wike, but that's not the issue on the table. So the president would have then said, oh, I'm declaring the state of emergency in Rivers, assuming he said that. And in the same vein, I'm dropping my minister. What do people think the presidential power and responsibility is about? He could have told Wike, take it easy with them. But you don't know what he told him in the back. He could have told Siminalayi, Fubara, take it easy with your boss. You don't. Look, I started believing that we now need some very strong reorientation with bites. We are running the risk that underneath the process of everybody can talk anyhow. We're instigating our country to a point where we will probably never have peace. And unfortunately, back to the issue, if the judiciary speaks, if the court speaks, no matter how upset you are, you must accept. The reason is that we will run the risk that the only thing that will be happening in our country will be, oh, there's a crisis, because we are insisting that we will be right, even when the court says we are wrong.
I thought you were trying to orchestrate some kind of alignment.
You see, when I said let's do the alternative, you remember what I said? I said, looking at the whole space, there is need for us to go back and interrogate and engage our people. Are they going to agree that they won't even be coming out to vote? Then what's the point? Are they going to insist that they have to be paid for every vote? Then how do we even get good leaders? Are they going to insist that they themselves will not even be brave enough to contest? These were the issues. And in the process, one must be scared. If what is being rumored be true, that all the parties are going to be prevented from doing primaries or whatever the hell, which I doubt can ever happen in PDP, are we now going to be in a one-party state that there will be no opportunity for alternative viewpoint? So we are creating the possibility of dialogue, not of anger, not of malice, not of vengeance, but to say this democracy that we're practicing, it is to survive. We must go back to the people. We must speak to them. We must encourage them. And we must reduce the need to always shame our country. And look at what's going on in the geopolitics of the world. The world doesn't have time for any other person. Everybody is so selfish, so to speak. Are we going to be a big nation that will just wake up every morning? If the court tells us it's left, we'll say we don't agree. If they tell us it's right, we'll say we don't agree. What are we trying to do here? So that's what the alternatives are about. But definitely, anybody who is banking on me to join people on...
And El-Rufai and an Atiku are now sitting on the same chair, on the same table, and looking like they're working together.
Yes, they are.
He's moved to this SDP. And you now see, you're hearing a Fayemi, hearing an Amechi, hearing a backdoor alignment. What kind of feeling does that give you?
Politicians are funny. They will talk and talk and talk and talk. When it becomes time for them to say, where is the game? You will find them start crawling away from what they say they mean. You have to give it to Nasiru El-Rufai. At least he had the courage of conviction to say, my party I'm no longer doing. Now I am in SDP. Why are the others? They are still having a conversation on where should we go? Where would we go? Should it be this? What about this? In case it's this. That's one on one side. There's still the conversation on who will even lead. Are we going to say that, okay, they're going to be angry with the president to such a point that the only thing that will be on the table is vengeance, without an interrogation of their capability and the competence to even improve on what they are complaining about? So, Sheung, we will see how it goes. I'm an opposition person because PDP is in opposition. But I'm not going to happily desire that PDP should go down for anybody. The People's Democratic Party of Nigeria, registered and has been existing since 1998, will have to figure out a way to overcome its own issues and then be ready. And let me tell you something, over the weekend, before the weekend, last week, I went back home to have a meeting in the grassroots just to listen. You could see the energy of my people dancing, singing PDP. So I looked at them and said, wow. You people still have this kind of energy for PDP, and we have not won an election in Ogun State since 2011. And yet, every household, every corridor, every corner, there are people doing PDP. Is it that kind of party you wish away? All the issues you are saying about PDP. We did a congress, we did a primaries to install somebody, to pick somebody in Edo. We had the presence of mind to pick Asue Ighodalo, such a brilliant guy. We did one in Bayelsa. We had the luck of winning that one. We did one in Edo. We did one in Kogi. We're going to do another one in Osun. So what I have been trying to say, which some of my friends are not happy with, they want me to just join them and say, this is bad, this is bad.
So you are not going to leave the PDP?
It will be very hard. And if I am to leave, I'm not going to follow a bunch of meanderers who will say they are here today, tomorrow they are. I've been a stable person.
What does it take to be able to give a good fight as opposition against the ruling party in the next general election?
I think that the two things we need to consider is we need to, first of all, decide that what the country is saying, some section of the country, which is that they want the South to complete their turn. Are we interested? If we're interested, we should be looking in the direction of men like, if we want, the ones that are already indicating presidency, maybe Peter. If the ones that has not indicated president, maybe somebody like Tunde Bakare. If they say, okay, look, we are not under obligation to zone according to you people. Every political party should do its zoning as it wish. Then we'll have to look at the North. Because that's one location where we can easily get cheap numbers and then we can make it up somewhere else. But we can't be planning an election in chaos. And Nigerians are not interested in people who just want to win for winning's sake without smart ideas of how they can make things better. People are, look, the last survey result I saw, 75% of the electorate today say they are not even interested in voting. They're losing hope. Now, okay, I ask you, if they lose hope in democracy, what other fancy ideas of selection of leaders have we invented? So you can see the struggle to say that, take it easy with yourself. Oh, somebody is secretary. What is secretary? Worst case scenario, we'll sit down there for until they finish their tenure. I've been screaming on the party, let's reform. We've wasted damn 2 years.
Can that happen? You're just in a dreamland.
Well, the thing is that, look, I'm not young. At some point in time, I'm going to ask myself that, have I given my all to this idea of saying, let us build it to last? And when I get to that, they know me. I will have the courage to tell them I'm done, and this is where I'm going. But for now, I'm just obsessed with the idea that the parties in America are 100 and something years old. You think that if they had been disturbing their party every 25 years, they will have a long party? Even the ones that is in China, the Chinese Communist Party, is almost 104 years old. The ANC is well over 120 something years old. Why should you people in Nigeria not agree that you can build to last?
So those who
APC
say
has only been in power for 10 years. PDP, damn it, we were there for 16.
So those who are of the opinion that if the opposition does not organize properly and not adequately use science and data to be able to organize properly,
we will lose.
Bola Tinubu and the APC
will lose. So
no, I'm asking. So the question is about opposition voice and opposition activism in our politics. The fact that you've got to put the ruling party on its toes to be able to perform. The ruling party should not be too comfortable to think that there won't be pushed to do it. But the question is,
let me tell you how that
is the opposition organizing or realizing that tendency?
Over a period, we have created a culture of an assembly, the Senate and the Rep, where they're only eager to agree with themselves for patronage. And I think that what we can do from what we're seeing now is begin to send better quality men on behalf of parties so that even when they want to oppose, they will oppose intelligently. They may be shut down. That's one. Because if you have an assembly where people are supposed to consider issues and everybody is just happily saying, the years have it, for something as offensive as a state of emergency, you know that it's all but gone. For the PDP, because it's a legacy party, it has been around since 98. All it has to do is go back to the drawing board, forgive itself, heal its own wounds, and stop fighting as if fighting 100% of zero is smart. I don't believe that with everything considered, anyone can prevent PDP from having a primary. I don't believe so. I am not happy that we didn't get anybody challenging much in Anambra. But you know why we didn't get? We didn't get there because when we finished 2023, I ran to these leaders, these same leaders, that look, let's put all our energy in Imo so that the Igbos can see that we're back. What were they doing? Conveniently, they pretended that it was not an important election. Why should anybody that is in the Southeast today, who knows that there's ABGA in Anambra, there's APC ruling party, possibly there's even whatever it is they call Labour. Why should anybody be?
So we need to go now.
Yeah, we can go.
Is there one individual that can help fix your party? Because it does look
You know, if I told you who can fix it, they will be angry.
Who is the person?
No, let me just say that. In Yoruba, people used to say that there's a child you have, and the elders will say, Omo kan bi igba omo. Igba in Yoruba land is 200. They will say, you have one child, is the equivalent of 200 children.
And who is this child? Who is the person?
His name is Wike. I wish he was not in APC. I guarantee, I don't know him that well.
Bukola Saraki cannot do it?
No, the problem with Bukola is I think Bukola has just seen that, one, how could they have even lost 2023? Two, why should he even be dissipating the energy of people that are not serious? And probably he's thinking that, well, if they are not interested...
So Wike is a solution to PDP's
No.
problem.
What I meant is that because he's still a member of the party, I guarantee you he's not here. If he had been in the party today, one side would have won, one side would have been pleaded with, one side would have been... Another person that can try, if he's interested in trying, is Bala Mohammed. Why? Because when I go around across the broad spectrum of intelligent people in the country, they like him. We have enough stars. We borrow APC.
Thank you so much indeed. Always a pleasure having you.
It's a pleasure, but I'm not happy. I want my party back.